Testing, testing. Okay, we go. There we go, y'all. There we go. Trying to get this lighting right. I don't know if I got too much light. Let's go right here. All right, let's adjust it. What it do, y'all? What's going on? Mind Games Uncut pop up live. We are here. Let me see how I'm looking in my lighting because I can't tell here. We look pretty good. Let me see. Can I bring it up? All right. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Okay. Testing, testing. Okay. Yeah, man, we here. My Games Uncut pop up live, trying to make sure everything good, make sure the lighting good. Anyway, y'all, let's touch on this real quick because I am tired and burned out. I'm about to chill, relax, eat a little later, and so y'all don't even have been talking about politics that much, but we're gonna touch on it. We was about to save act. Was in California, man. I don't know, man. In California, people. All right, so let's play this real quick. Hold on.
Of ID or what have you that could be made available. If there are amendments that would improve in that respect, I'd totally be open to that. But I think the fact that we don't have voter ID in places like California is extremely unusual in democracies across the globe. There's maybe like 2 or 3 democracies in the world that don't have it. This is just kind of like a standard administrative requirement in a well-functioning democracy. So I think we should just have it.
So Stephen A. Smith on his show, what they call Straight Shot? What his podcast is. He had a guy come on talking about what's going on in California. They ain't using they don't have to have a voter ID to vote. And Stephen A. Smith didn't know this, and he's looking like, "What the hell? You mean they don't have to have no ID?" Let's continue.
We should get this over. Should move on with our lives. It should be a big controversial issue.
Excuse me for being so ignorant. Asking last question. This is definitely my last question. What do you mean you don't have voter ID in California? Could you please elaborate specifically on that for my audience that may not know?
Yeah, California does not have voter ID. You don't need to present it to register. You don't need to present it to vote. As a matter of fact, the state passed a law forbidding voter ID. So cities, counties, if they
forbidding
ID, they're not allowed to under state law.
What? When did that happen?
A couple of years ago, because I think it was Orange County, they wanted to have their own requirements, so the state passed a law saying, no, you're not allowed to. Voter ID is not only not required, it is actively forbidden.
Well, that's right. I just said right there. That's why the same thing's been proposed. Right there, the state of California. That's what the Republicans going to lean on as an
Boy, that damn Stephen A. Smith be overacting, boy, for real. But he got a point. He didn't know that. Yeah, that is a shocker, though. Like, I'm in Georgia. Most states, man, you got to show voter ID. Let's continue.
To definitely push forth the same act. Right there. I can't believe it. I didn't even know that, sir. I'm embarrassed to admit.
There's a lot of crazy things going on in California, but I think, you are seeing a return to sanity in some ways, and I see it Democrats, Republicans, and independents in California who are saying, we need to do some things differently in this state.
By the way, last thing, that no voter eligibility required. That's Gavin Newsom. Last 2 years, that was Gavin Newsom.
Correct. That was Newsom.
There you go. That was Newsom. That's all I needed to know. Thank you, sir. Representative Kevin Collins.
Hey, good for Stephen A. Now, please listen to this.
For the last 2 years, we've seen election integrity take center stage. Tonight, we look closer at one of the most controversial rules, California's voter ID law.
Vote. A voter is not required to show us an ID in order to be able to vote.
Yeah. You heard what she said, y'all?
Kern County Registrar of Voters-elect Amy Espinoza, who will take over for her boss, Mary Bedard, next year, explains California is one of 15 states that in most cases does not require a voter to show any form of identification.
That is the dumbest thing I've heard in my life, man. How have 15 other states doing the same thing? Oh, shit, man. They come to the presidential election. Hell, is it really fair? Just saying.
When voting,
there's a misconception that that it's Mary Bedard's call as far as whether or not people have to show their IDs, and it's not. It is a state issue, and again, we just followed the law.
That issue is one of the most contentious parts of elections. Republican analyst Kathy Abernathy explains some residents in Kern are concerned it could lead to confusion with names at the polls, or even someone showing up to vote saying someone else's name and voting in their place.
Why not do something that is that simple to
You think that ain't never happened before? Let's continue.
make sure that, particularly if you have a name like John Smith or Susie Jones, that you don't have any kind of confusion? Why not ask for it?
Democratic analyst Neil Sinapa believes voting should be as easy as possible for citizens, arguing requiring voters to show an ID could disproportionately affect voters of lower economic status, who may be less likely to need or use an ID in their everyday life.
Stop copy and pasting charts into PowerPoint. It's 2026.
Yeah, I mean, commercial. But anyway, you get the gist of it, man. That's crazy. I never ever thought that I that's crazy, man. So let me read the comments real quick. Somebody said my Fortune 500 company transferred me to California with an H-1B. Sue DMV worker gave me a California driver license based on my German driver's license and registered me to vote. She ignored my incredibly heavy German accent. Wow. If it weren't for blatant cheating in California, that state would turn blood red. I agree. They're not ashamed to show how they cheat to stay in power. The homeless in Cali all were able to show ID to cash their COVID checks. Now they can't show that same ID to vote. Exactly, man. This whole thing is stupid, y'all. And like I said, I've been kind of pulling back from politics, but I had to talk about this because I seen it earlier. Who was talking about it? I forgot who it was, but they couldn't believe it. I think, Stephen A. But not Stephen A. Smith, was somebody else. But this makes no sense, y'all. And like I said, anybody, all my people that's rocking with the Democrats, y'all got to call them out on this, man. Because it said 70%, 77% of black people agreed we should have ID when we vote. And the rest of the country agreed too. So I don't know what the hell the Democrats, I don't know where they're getting this information from. I don't know what they think. This is not going to help you, man. This is not going to help you. So that being said, man, I'm out of here and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.